Hi, so today I'm just going to be teaching you, as the title says, some random tips and tricks and stuff like that for how to speed up your F2L. And let's get right to it then. So the first case I've set up is one of the most simple ones that I'm sure many of you already know. It's when the edge is correctly inserted in its slot and the corner has a white facing up. And so the way you can do this in two different ways. The way I do them both interchangeably, just whatever comes to instinct. You can do R, U, R prime, U prime trigger 3 times. R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime. That solves it. Or if you can also do the inverse of that, which is U, R, U prime, R prime 3 times, and then do that 3 times. That solves it as well, because the reason this works, the theory behind it is, doing the R prime U prime trigger 6 times reverts the key back to its original position. So doing that backwards 6 times would give you the same result. And so because it's 3 times that you'd have to do either one, which is in the middle, you can do either one 3 times, because 3 minus 3 is 0, which is the original position. 3 plus 3 going forwards is 6, which is also the original position. So I'm sure you understand. Alright, so this next case I have set up is the same thing, with the corner with white on top and the edge being correctly inserted, except in the wrong slot. And the way you would go about doing this is, some people may do the R prime, U prime trigger twice to get this case set up, and then rotate the cube and insert it like that. However, there's a faster way to do it. You can move the corner over here to start, and then do R prime F, R F prime, and then that sets up the insertion without requiring a cube rotation. Similarly, you can do it the other way around, the inverse, when the pair is here and you need to put them in this back slot. You can do it with the left hand. Start with the corner over here and do L, F prime, L prime, F, and then you have this insertion. Simple and easy. And so the final situation for this situation, the final position would be better, is when this this misaligned pair with white on top is diagonal from the correct slot. And so the way you could go about doing this, there's two ways. I've seen people do algorithms, but every person, friend, anyone who's showed me an algorithm for this that they use does it from this angle, holding the cube here. And so, I mean, yeah, I don't recommend doing that, because it would require you to do a Y2 cube rotation to get here. And so I think it would just be better if you did the same old R prime U prime trigger to set up that one move or 3 move insertion. So you could do R prime U prime, R prime, and then because the slot is back here, you can do a U, and because the starting position and slot needs to go into our diagonal from each other rather than the previous cases, which were adjacent, you do not have to do a cube rotation, which is just another benefit for this insertion, and which is why I recommend doing this. So this next case I've set up is when you have the corner correctly inserted and the edge is flipped. Now there are two ways you can do this. You can do it intuitively by first removing the pair, and then rotating the cube and inserting it like you normally would. But I prefer to do an algorithm I was taught by one of my friends. So you can choose whichever one you like. The algorithm I'll show you anyways is R2, U2, F, R2, F prime, U2, R prime, U prime, R prime. That will solve the case as well. So this next situation I've set up is probably not going to look like any special situation for F2L because it is not. It is what you'd run into doing a standard beginner's method solve with a solved corner and an edge that needs to be placed in its position. And I'd just like to point out, as I was watching one of my friends solve the F2L, he had recently learned how to do so. What he did as I watched him was he first removed the corner from its slot, from its solved position, and then lined up an F2L pair to insert. And I just wanted to point out that in my opinion this would harm you as opposed to do good. I think it would be better just to do the standard beginner's method algorithm you already know, as opposed to first removing the corner. I think doing the beginner's method algorithm would just be simply faster. This last situation I've set up is one that I found on my own a couple of days ago actually, and it's not, I don't know if it's something you would use in a solve because it's kind of hard to recognize, but I thought it was kind of neat. Basically what it is it's a short algorithm that inserts an F2L pair, this F2L pair, when it is facing this direction and the slot is back here and you're holding it from this angle. So like what would be inserted normally like that. It inserts this, and it also inserts this edge if this color is matching like this. So I suppose you could also use this algorithm if this slot or this edge specifically has not been solved yet, if you wanted to do a rotationless F2L insert. Anyways, I'll show you the algorithm, you could play around with it. It is R2 little u prime, R prime, little u, R2, and it solved this F2L pair and this edge. So I just thought that was kind of cool. So that's all for this video. I hope you learned something from it. I hope you enjoyed watching, and thank you for your time. Bye.